So again, we have another two questions which have been grouped together with a series of information provided for the two of them. This time we're looking at a company LW, a listed entity, with another company considering investing in them. So it tells us that LW operates in a mature market, has not experienced growth in volume for some time, currently considering ways that they can increase revenue by looking at diversifying their product range, but nothing's been implemented as yet. So then we've got some key financial data in terms of some margins, the quick ratio, inventories holding period and payables payment period. In between, it tells us that LW was involved in a major dispute with one of their key customers in 2003 regarding non-settlement of amounts that were owed. Dispute was eventually settled close to reporting date. Majority of cash has since been received. However, significant legal fees were incurred in trying to realise those debts, and the company had to stop supplying that customer for a period of time. So question 10 then says, can we look at this series of statements and choose which three would be realistic conclusions that could be drawn from the information we've been given? So the first one is that stopping supplies to the significant customer will have contributed to the increase in the inventory holding period. So if we look back to the information we've been given, the inventory holding period has increased from 112 days to 141 days, suggesting that the company is holding on to more stock at any given time. Now that could be for lots of reasons. It could be that they have actively chosen to do that so that they can supply more if there is a sudden increase in demand. It could be that they've taken advantage of some discounts from one of their suppliers and therefore bought more than they particularly needed to. Lots of reasons why that might be true. But again, if they have stopped supplying a customer that they were expecting to send goods out to you, it seems sensible that that could have contributed to the increase in that holding period. The second is that the impact of the cost of the dispute can be seen in the operating profit margin, which has fallen despite an increase in gross profit margin. If we just think about our statement of profit or loss, legal expenses would appear as part of the expenses below the gross profit line. So again, that seems a realistic, sensible conclusion for us to draw. The third is that the increase in gross profit margin has definitely been achieved by increasing selling prices. Now, that's a fairly strong word, a fairly strong statement to make. We can draw conclusions from a review of statements, but being definitive about something would mean that I'd need quite a lot more information. If we look at the information we've been given here, it tells us that actually there's been little growth in terms of volume, and without growth in volume, it seems unlikely that the company would have increased their selling prices. In actual fact, a change in gross profit margin could be affected by either selling or purchase prices. So it seems more likely here that the improvement in gross profit is actually to do with negotiations of purchase price rather than increasing selling prices. The next statement is that the increase in the payable payment period will have resulted in a reduction in cash and cash equivalents. So if we just think that through, if we're taking longer to pay our suppliers, that's the only way we would have an increase in our payable payment period. That would actually suggest that we are holding on to our cash for longer, and we would expect that that would improve our cash flow position. So this one isn't right, mainly because it's the wrong way round. The next statement is that the reduction in the quick ratio is principally due to the significant increase in the inventory holding period. Now, if we just think about the difference between quick and current ratios, the key difference is that in the quick ratio, we exclude any inventory that's held. So that can't be true because that ratio doesn't take that inventory into account. So hopefully the last one is a realistic conclusion. This one says that the reduction in that quick ratio is principally due to the increase in the payable payment period. And yes, in this case, that is true. The quick ratio is largely comparing receivables and payables periods. And yes, that one would be a sensible conclusion.